So hello, Steve.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thanks for having us in your kitchen. You're going to share some Super Bowl party recipes today, right?
Right.
What are you making?
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the stuffed mushrooms. So I'm going to get a package of the cream cheese. You can use any. It's about, I believe, 8 ounces of the Philadelphia cream cheese.
Got it, okay.
And one of the things you'll see is I don't use mixing utensils because this is a very, cheese is kind of hard to mix up with a spoon.
Yes,
so
it
I'll
is.
use my hands, but I've washed them regularly. Put a package of this in.
Got it.
And then it's 8 ounces. And then this is about 8 ounces of cheese. So what I do is I put half of it in.
What kind of cheese is that?
This is a 5 Italian cheese. You can pick it up in the stores.
I've seen that
under Sorrento's. So again, just an idea. And then what I do is I put a little garlic.
Got it.
I like the McCormick because I think it blends better than putting the raw garlic in. Sometimes you'll get groups of the garlic, and I just sprinkle a little in. You never can put too much garlic in anything.
I agree.
So what I do is I buy the shrimp from Montando's. I like the wild caught shrimp, and I just mix it in, and I cut it up in small pieces.
You buy it from Montando's in Lockport, and you buy it already cooked, and it's ocean caught.
Yes.
Got it.
And so what I do is I just go in and I take my hands and I just mix it, okay? And just to make sure I get a good mixture of all of it. What I also put in is probably about a half a cup of breadcrumbs as well, just to kind of give it a little color.
Are those seasoned or not?
These are seasoned breadcrumbs, so you'll see I just kind of pop it in how much I think I need.
So that's about half to 3/4 of a cup of the seasoned breadcrumbs.
Yep. And as you can see, it's starting to smell pretty good.
It smells delicious.
And then what I do is I just take it, and then I take each one of the mushrooms, and then I roll just a little ball with each one. I take a mushroom, just like this, and then I just put it right in the top.
Ooh, little mountain of shrimp and breadcrumbs and cheese.
That's it.
Okay.
So what I'll do is, as we're cooking, was we do the banana peppers, what I'll do is I'll put these in the oven. As you see, I wash my hands a lot. We'll put this in the oven about 20 minutes at 350.
Got it.
Preheat the oven ahead of time. We'll put it in about 20 minutes or so. If you want to expedite it, what I often tell people to do is take the mushrooms, put it in a pan, saute them with a little water, and steam them ahead of time.
Yeah.
It cooks them a little faster, so then you could probably have them out in about 10 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Cool idea.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the stuffed banana peppers. What I do is I buy the Hungarian banana peppers, and I tend not to go real hot with the banana peppers because I feel if you want to, you can add some pepper flakes to them to make them a little spicier. So it's all about the spice level. We're not real spicy people here, so we usually put it to the side so people who like things spicy. So what I do is I get about a half a cup or so of feta cheese. The feta cheese just gives a little salty flavor to it, and with the pepper, it tastes really tasty. I usually use a full 8 ounces of cheese.
What is that? Oops.
This is actually the 6 cheese Italian.
Oh, that's 6 cheese we were talking about
Yep,
earlier.
that's what we were talking about earlier. So it's like a little bit of a smoky Romano, Fontana, Asiago, and Parmesan.
Got it. Sounds wonderful. Sargento.
I just pour it in here like this, the cheese. And then again, I take another one of the Philadelphia cream cheese, which is really great because it's great for spreading and it kind of brings all the ingredients together. And I usually have, this will actually probably make about 2 dozen. Today you'll see I'm making about a dozen of them. And then the little garlic, because everything tastes better with garlic. Just sprinkle maybe, just to cover the top, maybe 2 tablespoons or so. Okay, and then what I do is I just mix it. So what I do is I roll it like a little round ball, just like not a round, like a little cigar.
Got it.
And then I just fill it into the banana pepper. It just goes a little better. And some people, if you're more comfortable and you don't feel you want to use your hands, what I do is I try to roll it as long as the banana pepper and then put it in. It's easier to do that than to spread it with a knife. You'll spend more time.
Yeah, I've done this before and I agree with you. Although I've never done them in cigar shapes. It's brilliant.
Yeah, so I just roll
So those go in the oven at what?
350 for half an hour.
Got it.
Let me just fill this little spot here with a little extra. And as you can see, we had just enough to do these. And it's a nice dozen right now. And if you wanted to go half.
It's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, so you're putting those in with the stuffed mushrooms.
Yep. And I keep them in at 350. These will be in about 30 minutes, so they cook well.
Perfect.
Now we're gonna make nachos. So what you'll see is I've taken the scoops that you pick up in the store, and I actually have them individual because when you have a Super Bowl party, a lot of people over, if you ever been in the pile of nachos, some people get all the goodies if they're the first ones to get in the pile, but then what happens is sometimes it falls all over the place and you're left cleaning it up later.
Big messes, yes, big
so
messes.
I like to present it where I'll actually go and I'll put the cheese in each one and then I'll present it on a tray. You can do one of two things. It's really simple. You can put it in the oven. It really doesn't have to be in the oven long, maybe about 5 minutes.
Right.
Or I put it on a plate and put it in the microwave and just cook them up real quick, so that saves you from having, if you don't have a lot of oven space.
Got it, but I bet these get crispier in the oven.
They do. They absolutely do.
So, show me.
Okay, great. So what I do is I get the Mexican cheese that you pick up in the store, and what you'll see is I have green onions, and then I have a little bit of salsa. So what I go with the salsa, I actually pick this as fresh salsa, and I get it in Tops, in the produce section. And it's really tasty.
I've seen that there.
It doesn't have a hot spice to it at all, so you can choose it. You can have the hot one, or you can have the one that's...
Sorry, I tripped. So you get this. This is the. I'm sorry. Tell me about the salsa.
The salsa is a fresh salsa that you buy at Tops. This one here is not spicy at all. It's just a regular. They also have a hot one, and it just has in it has the.
Hi.
And it has the onions and just. Green onions as well as tomatoes.
Perfect.
Okay. And just want to grab a spoon. So first thing I do is I just take cheese in each one and I fill it up with the cheese.
Must get messy after you've cooked it. I sometimes, would you ever use like those?
Sometimes I'll put wax paper down, but for the most part, I do this one, to be honest, in the microwave. It's just a lot easier.
Really?
Yeah, it's just easier to throw it on a plate, and then I don't have to pull it off. And then, so what happens sometimes is when you do this, it actually will, some of the cheese will burn on the pan or melt.
Yes.
But burnt cheese is the best.
You're right, it is.
So I just go through each one, and I throw a little bit of cheese on there. And again, it won't be that much, once it melts, there's not really that much there.
Right.
And what I do is I put it on each one of these, I put a little cheese in. And what you can do, I'm not going to do it today, you can actually take shrimp or lobster or crab and add it as an added item. If you want to, what I've done is, you make a pot of chili and you save the chili. These are really great to put a little chili in each one with the cheese on top. What I typically do is I put the cheese down first and then the chili on top just so they don't get soggy.
That's a good side note on the printed recipe, which is these can also be made with chili. That's brilliant.
And then these green onions are just so tasty. They're better than regular onions. I just tossed a couple in each one of the green onion. And if you want, you can pre-mix the green onion right with the cheese ahead of time, so you're not having to do it twice, just to streamline it. But I love green onions, so I like to put a lot in.
So those are trimmed and diced.
Trimmed and diced.
And how many green onions would you say you trimmed and diced?
About 3 packages total. But you only use probably one for the nachos. You'll see when we do the quesadillas, I use more of the green onion for the quesadillas.
Okay, but the green, when you say 3 packages, don't they come in
the bundles?
Bunches.
Yeah, 3 bundles I did. So you'll be able to do the quesadillas. And this is the nice thing about doing the nachos with the quesadillas is you can do both at the same time, and you can use the same ingredients.
Nice.
You see, and what I do is, from the salsa perspective, I don't put the salsa on until after they come out of the oven. And the reason for that is, I think it tastes better with the chili, with the tomatoes not hot. It just has a better flavor when you eat it. So what I'll do now is I'll just put these, what I tend to do is I throw them in the oven on broil. So I'll take this bottom oven here and put them in. I'll just throw it on broil for a few minutes. And that'll be ready in about 5 minutes.
Perfect.
I could take the oil off here.
That's
Let's take a couple off.
okay. Now we're rolling. Right. So So you just took them out of the broiler.
Yeah, for about 5 minutes.
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So you just took them out from under the broiler.
Correct.
Yes.
For about 5 minutes. And I'm taking them now and I'm just plating them on for the appetizers. And again, you have a couple extra, so if any fall on the floor or you want to have a nibble on a few before the company gets in. And then what I do is once they're on here, I take it and I garnish it, each one with the salsa. And the reason I do that is you'll see is I think it tastes better with the salsa being cold, but whatever you prefer. I just put a little garnish on each one. Not a lot. And the nice thing is when we do the quesadillas, you can use this to eat the quesadillas with later on. So nothing goes to waste. And they're all set.
Those are amazing.
Ready to serve. Put them on with a little, and you can just serve them as they are. And again, if you like, you can garnish them with shrimp, or you could put a little crab on them. Whatever you like.
So we tasted the nachos, and we tasted the mushrooms, and we tasted the peppers, and each one is tremendous. This must be the piece de resistance.
Oh, this is the finale. Oh, this is the best. These are quesadillas, and what I do is I get Mexican cheese, green onions. Everything that you make with green onions just pops the flavor.
Tastes better.
Yes, absolutely. I get chicken, fajita chicken. So either you can make it in the fajita mix and cook it up, or you can buy it already cooked.
Okay.
In the meat section.
Is it seasoned for fajitas
It's seasoned for fajitas. So I usually use that, and then I cook up a couple slices of bacon. I refer to bacon as the dessert meat.
It is a dessert
and it does
meat.
give a nice smoky flavor to it. And again, you can substitute the chicken if you want to put shrimp or crab, or steak, whatever you want to do. It's up to you, whatever your palate is. And then what I have is I typically use as a garnish afterwards is I put the jalapeno peppers on.
Got it.
And then I have these items as a garnish as well,
Perfect.
just to pop the flavor.
Perfect.
So the first thing I do is I just buy the small quesadillas, the shells, and the taco shells, and I butter each side. I don't throw tons of butter on, but just enough, just so it gives it a little crisp on each side.
On each side.
And not on the other side. We'll see when I put the one on top.
Got it.
And then I just put a little butter just so it makes a nice crispy and they're easy to eat when you have company.
Got it.
Then what I do here is, then I take a little cheese.
Now you need a panini maker for this, right?
Well, you can do it one or two ways. You can do it in a pan. What I would recommend though, it's difficult to flip when you're in the pan. So if you're gonna do it in a pan, I would suggest just doing one of these and fill it half and then folding it. And then it's easier to flip. If you try to flip it in the pan, it's all gonna fall apart.
So fold it over and make a half a quesadilla.
And make a half a quesadilla.
Got it.
And then what I do is I get a little green onion. I toss a little green onion in there. And again, if you want, I have a little OCD, so I have to have my ingredients separated when I put it in because I want to manage that.
Makes
you can mix it all together.
Yes, they're beautiful.
I put a little chicken in.
And you said you like to cut it. You like to cut it small.
I like to dice it up just so I can spread it evenly. I don't know if anyone's ever had quesadillas where you're like, "Where's the meat?" I like to make sure there's plenty of meat in here for.
So every bite has some meat in it, or at least a chance to have meat in it.
Exactly. And then I throw a little bacon.
That bacon.
It just gives it a nice smoky flavor.
I love that. The dessert meat.
Yes, the dessert meat.
Just a teeny bit for flavor.
Yep. And then what I do is I put a little bit more cheese on the top, just it melts on and it sticks it all together. Not tons, but just enough so it sticks it all together. And then what I do is I take a little butter and I put it on this top part. Overlay it like this. And I'll show you how to do, I'll even do two of them. I'll show you how I do it in the halves. And then what I do is I just pop this down. The light will turn green when they're done. And they'll be crispy. And then we'll pull them off and I'll cut them up in just triangles. So now these are pretty much cool. So what I usually do is I get a butcher knife. And I just cut them in fours. Now you could choose to cut them in fours, but if you'd rather go, you can even make 6. So I'll do this one here. I'll do 6 little pieces. And then you just put them on your plate like this.
Beautiful.